everyone, welcome back to our channel startuplinks.com. I'm Namrata and I'm taking interviews of the CEOs and founders of several innovative startups in India. In today's interview, I'll be talking to Mr. Suresh Konduru, the founder of PremierAgile Consulting. Mr. Suresh has an extensive experience of over 23 years working in the IT industry as an agile trainer and coach. PremierAgile Consulting specializes in agile coaching, training, consulting, and transformation services. With its unmatched learning programs powered by globally recognized Scrum Alliance flagship certifications, the startup assists organizations to stay digitally progressive and increase their productivity. You want to know more about this business? Let's get into the video.
Hello, sir. Thank you for joining today. Good evening. And I'm Namrata. I'll be taking your interview. So, if you could kindly introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. Thank you. So, my name is Suresh Konduru. I've been in this industry for very, very long time, about 23 years of work experience, and largely with big corporates in India and a lot of time outside India as well. Been with Infosys for about 15 years and with large, small organizations and with a startup for a year. And I've been into this industry training, coaching people for the last 10 years or so. I mean, though my total work experience is more than 20 years. And this startup I have been probably doing for the last 3 years or so.
All right. So, how did you come up with the idea of the startup?
Okay, so today's world, as we know, a lot of us need several new products, new services, not just in the technology world, but outside the technology world, non-IT world, software, both software and non-software world as well. And we need products, we build products. But then are we building them in the right way? Are we able to manage them with the right priorities? Are we able to include the customer from the beginning? So the development stage is not really, that upgraded in the industry, not very well known to the latest trends are not known in the industry. There is a lot of failure that is happening in the industry, a lot of investment that goes as a waste. For example, if I take a lot of startups have brilliant ideas, but then when they really build the product, more than 90% of the startups fail as per the survey. So why are they failing? Is it because lack of a great idea? No, maybe the execution is not there, or maybe some other support is not there. So I see a lot of gap in terms of how that whole product development, the service development, the deployments, the maintenance is happening. If you take any industry, so I see there's a big gap there. And even large organizations fail a lot of times because they probably don't have the required awareness. So I see there is a lot of lack of awareness in the industry in terms of how development can be done.
Right. Also, you're talking about the market and the industry. So, could you identify any particular gap where your product would be a right fit?
Sure. Yes, indeed. There is a big gap in the industry today in terms of how they perceive, how they develop, how they deploy. In the sense, a team gets together, they get some funding, they have a great idea, then they start developing that product or the service. And I'm not referring to only software, in general, any product, any farming product, for example, any manufacturing, mechanical, construction, banking, any industry. So you see there is a big lack of awareness on how this can be done very well. How can you involve customers from the beginning? So that gap I see. If I look at the research, one more research today, I see there is a, almost 80% lag in terms of the maturity, in terms of the old way of working versus a new way of working. So there is this whole new way of working, agile way of working or a flexible way of working, wherein you take care of customers' needs, you manage their priorities, the team is well informed, there is a lot of collaboration. So that is a new way of working is what I'm calling it. That's precisely the agile way of working, which is probably not known to the people. So that's a big gap that I see. There is almost nearly 20% of the people who are doing it right, and the others are either not there or trying to get there or attempted but failed. So that expertise is missing in the industry is a big gap that I would see today.
All right. If you had to explain your business model in simple terms for everybody to understand, how would you do that?
Okay. So first of all, we figure out what is this lack of understanding or the gap in the way people are doing things, right? So there are two types of people. One is a direct individual customers, or the other type of people is the organizations. So we look at both of them and then see who needs help. So obviously there is a lot of push system, but we use more of a pull system, wherein people will pull help from us. And then we reach out to them, we talk to them, we explain to them what we do, how they can be better in their professional, personal lives, and how we can coach them, how we can train them. So we kind of convince them, and then they come to our programs. They are onboarded into our programs. We certify them on those programs, for example, and then they come to our classes. We do a lot of physical classes, virtual classes as well. So that's one way we approach our customers. And then there is one of these biggest certification body based out of the United States. So we are one of the accredited trainers with the body. The name of the body is Scrum Alliance. So we are accredited with them, and then we provide those programs. We bring those programs into the market through my organization, PremierAgile.
Right. To sum it up, then, what are the services or products you are specifically offering to your customers?
Okay. So number one, biggest offering is the Scrum Alliance certifications that I was talking about. These are typically 2-day programs or more. So two of the largest, most popular programs today, I would say, is Certified Scrum Master, CSM. Okay. So this is one of the largest, or I would say the most popular in any industry today. It's not about software or hardware. Any industry today, you say this is the one of the top 10 certifications in the world today. So that's one product that we offer to the customers. And the other one we do is a certified Scrum product owner. This is a little jargon on the certification industry, but these are very, very popular to people who already know, and who already are doing and pursuing these kind of things. So CSM, CSPO, these are the two large products that we offer to the industry. And apart from that, we also do a lot of individual coaching, professional coaching, wherein our trainers, our coaches sit with people, work with them, identify the gaps. This is more of a one-on-one coaching or one-to-a-team level coaching. And we sit with managers, team members, and middle management, senior leadership, customers, users. We sit with them. We figure out what are their challenges in their workplace, and then how can we resolve them. So that's another big offering that we do. And the third one is more of a transformation. It's more of an organizational level transformation, because a lot of organizations are still stuck in an old way of working. They're not really embracing the new way of working, and that is why we see a lot of companies fail today as well. So we impact at those different levels of an organization, and we train them, coach them, short-term programs, long-term programs, and so on.
Okay. So, what are your target customers? Like, what are the domains you are trying to find your customers?
Okay, so our domain is pretty large in terms of, when I say the adoption is just 20% in the whole world, probably majority of the software industry have embraced this kind of working. Of course, there is still a long way to go for the software domains as well. But if you look at a non-software domain, even this kind of thinking can be applied there. And that's a huge, huge space today. If you look at the whole world, the non-IT embracing this kind of work is probably in single digits or less, very, very less. So that's a huge market. And we work with individuals, we work with teams, we work with customers across software, non-software, banking, mechanical, construction. And this is not just with organizations. We also work with universities, schools, legal bodies, governments, NGOs. It's you name it, we work with them. So this can be done pretty much, the way of working that I was talking about can be done pretty much not just in the organization, but also at home. Some people say, how can we be agile at home? How can we be agile in schools? Okay, so we coach everyone who is ready for that kind of a change and embrace and work with the customers in a more effective manner.
All right. So, if I were a potential customer at your startup, why should I choose you and not go to any of your competitors?
There you go. That's a very, very good question. So that's where we differentiate in the market. So our offering is based on real-time experience. Okay, you see there are several coaches, trainers out there in the industry, but our coaches and trainers are really tested, meaning experienced in the industry for maybe 15, 20, 25 years. And that's one reason why people come back to us again and again. So when people go for one of the programs and they get benefited, they come back for a second program. And so most of our business is repeated customers, and then they bring their friends, they bring their family members. I'm going to do one program to a college going kid next week. You see, so there is a school going kid also in one of my classes. So we do that, and our engagement with the customers is based on a research that was done in the last 50 years. This is called brain science learning, wherein we engage people to the best possible extent. It's not just about reading through a PowerPoint or reading a book. This is something more engaging than that. And people are really motivated because it's going to be a quite interactive engagement. So people come back for that interaction. When we do a program like that, Certified Scrum Master, a CSM workshop, I would say, a CSPO workshop, people come back for engagement. And so that's another reason why people choose us. And we also, it's no surprise that we are like more than 10,000 people trained across the last couple of years, rated 5 out of 5 on Google, more than 1,000 reviews out there. And we train people from more than 30 countries. So the space that we are talking about is not just India, it's across the globe. Okay. And we are rated as, just recently, yesterday I heard, a couple of days back, I heard one of the updates that we are like listed amongst the top 10 Agile consulting space, if 20 review India magazine. So I think that speaks pretty much for it.
Great. Congratulations. Also, when being associated with or collaborating with vendors, what are the parameters you actually judge them upon before taking them aboard?
Sure. So we partner with quite a few people, quite a few partners actually, because we rely on a lot of marketing. So we needed specialists in, say, Google marketing, Google search engine optimization. We need content writers, both regular as well as guest content writers, not just text-related blogs, but also video content development. We needed payment systems, payment platforms, like Stripe, Razorpay, and alike. And we needed those event platforms like Zoom or anything like that, because we conduct a lot of classes and a lot of events online, a lot of free events as well. And that's one. We needed a lot of resellers for this space, because I'm accredited with the body out there, the certifying body Scrum Alliance, but I needed a couple of other people who can sell, who can have their expertise, and because my core expertise is not selling, my core expertise is delivering that whole product, right? So I partner with several people, and we still onboard at least one new partner every day in the last couple of years, I would say. And what else? We needed website, our own software development and maintenance teams. So we look at that space as well. So we work with several vendors today.
So what are the qualities you actually look at while hiring them?
Okay. This is a very, very niche field, niche subject. It's not so easy to understand that subject as well. So we needed more quality than we really being stuck with price or anything like that. So this is a very, very, as I said, this is a top 10 certifications programs in the entire world. I'm not talking about software world, but in general, you take the medical space, any research you take, mechanical, construction, any space you take, this is one of the top 10 programs in the world, right? Rated as per a research. So it's a very, very niche field. So we look at more quality people with real expertise who can help us. Not just that somebody who is just like that who came in the last couple of years. So we needed people with more than 15, 20 years of expertise in the field, good quality, good customer service, and 24/7 availability is another big aspect that we look at, because we deal with people all around the globe.
Okay. If you could share your short-term and long-term goals, if you have planned any for the company.
Yeah, sure. So right now we are working only through those couple of programs that I mentioned. That itself is a big space, but there are several other spaces we can explore. For example, leadership at an organization level. How flexible and agile that they can be. For another example is how can we address the business agility in the industry today, because a lot of companies, people are stuck probably in an old way of working and what they have thought is the best in an earlier manner, but then things have changed, we have to move on. So transforming from an old way of thinking to a new way of thinking, right? So, and is applicable at all departments in the organization, not just with ground level teams, but also with middle management, upper management, the leadership, customers, users. So we have plans to take our programs and more of leadership coaching, for example, more at that level, right? In the next few years. That's one. And the second thing is we also wanted to onboard other organizations and see how we can partner with universities and NGOs and so on and so forth. So that's another big plan we have.
Okay. Well, also you will agree to this fact that when an organization grows and plans to expand, funding is an important part of it. If you could walk me through the funding scenario at your company, have you been taking external fundings before, or are you planning to in the near future?
So our main capital, at least as of now, is more of a brain capital than anything else. Earlier we had these whole travel and lot of stuff. Nowadays, due to pandemic, travel is restricted, so that's not really there. So it's more of an intellectual capital is what we need. But really, that doesn't stop there. If you have to expand to new domains, new segments, new markets, new offerings, obviously we needed capital, we needed some funding. As of now, we are not really looking for that because that's a little long-term plan. Maybe after a year or so, maybe we'll probably need some funding as well. And I'm sure Startup Lanes is going to help me with that.
Well, you're talking about Startup Lanes. My last question would be, what are your views or thoughts on Startup Lanes?
Oh, Startup Lanes. So when I heard for the first time from Shishir, I thought this is a great thing. And I've always thought there is a gap in the industry in terms of understanding how to function, how to run a startup, how to get that funding, how to get those ideas, how to pitch. I think that way Startup Lanes is doing fantastic in terms of giving back to the community, helping people create an ecosystem in terms of for example, I was part of the group last couple of months, and I'm seeing some very, very active initiatives. Okay, now morning motivation is something very nice, for example, right? And the other thing I'm seeing is some of the Zoom sessions in terms of how to sell an idea, how to have people, how to hire people, how to convince them to join your organization, for example, right? So these are some of the events I'm seeing in the last couple of months, and I thought they're really inspiring, motivating. So Startup Lanes, I think, is doing pretty good on those terms. And one small thing that I could probably request is maybe you should also see how you can project more real case studies in terms of how people are benefited. Maybe you have it somewhere and I haven't seen it. Probably that's my ignorance, but probably that is something that you could also focus, because I'm sure more than 7,000, 8,000 startups already were benefited and working with you guys.
You were talking about giving back to the community. Well, my short question to you from my side is, apart from your usual offerings, what are you doing to give back to the community as well?
Okay. So my involvement, even though without coming to this, without starting PremierAgile Consulting, is I've been with big corporates. In the last 10, 15 years, I've always been pretty active in the community, doing a lot of service in terms of intellectual ways, conducting conferences, speaking at events, volunteering events. So I have pretty much continued the same thing even after starting PremierAgile. So we have an initiative called Premier Wednesday. So all Wednesdays are Premier for us because we do free events on those days. So when I say free events, people join our events on an online platform, about 50, 60, 100 people, and then we do some webinars, some knowledge sharing sessions, free of cost. These are free of cost. So that's why I'm calling them Premier Wednesday. And we do lifetime mentoring sessions. So anybody who joins our program, registers with us, they have a lifetime opportunity in terms of getting back any free mentoring in their career, in their office professional life, or in terms of implementation, in terms of product development. Any challenges, we always do lifetime free mentoring. I think that's a big difference, in fact, on how PremierAgile operates in the market today. Apart from this, philanthropy, I think a lot of companies do it. So we also do it. We have worked with several trusts around and all that stuff. We do pretty much around the globe, not just India. I mean, I run some trusts for the last 10 years or so, even before PremierAgile has happened.
Great, sir. Great. Well, that will bring us to an end. But thank you for joining today. Thank you for taking out time and talking about your giving back to the community as well as about your product. So thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you.